Let's understand the role of statistical significance test. We will understand in what situations when you want to use a statistical significance test in the context of machine learning project workflow. When is it used? In what sort of situation it is used? The statistical significance tests are used primarily. The main purpose is to substantiate some sort of a claim that is made based on data. We come across such claims all the time in the newspapers and media all over the place. You will see claims that are being made about anything, almost anything. For example, even in our housing prices problem, based on the data, you might observe certain things and make a claim. And one such claim should be housing prices in locality A is greater than locality B. Suppose just by looking at the data, you are making this claim. And how you are making this claim? You could simply take the mean price of all the houses in locality A and the mean prices of all the houses in locality B. And if the mean price of A is greater than B, you are claiming that, okay, the mean price of all the houses in A is greater than B. Now, just based on the pure sample data that you have at hand, this might be a meaningful claim to make. But is this sufficient to substantiate the claim? Is it statistically significant? What do I mean by that? For instance, let's take this case. Say we have locality A and data for locality B. And let's suppose we took a sample of the sample N could be say 21 houses. And for locality B, it could be 24 houses. And the mean price, say let's call it $110,000, right? This is the mean price for 21 houses, whereas it is $108,000 for 24 houses in locality B. Now, based on this data, we are assuming we are concluding here, we are claiming that the mean price of locality A is greater than locality B. Right now, is this difference $110,000 and $108,000? Is this difference significant enough to make such a claim? That is one thing to think about. Second thing is this number of items in the sample, is the sample size sufficient enough to make this claim? Let's suppose we take more samples, say we sample 9 more houses. For 30 houses, the mean could be something like, say, for 30 houses, the mean could be changing to 108,000 K. If the remaining 9 houses that we sort of surveyed has a lesser price, then there's a very good chance that 110K turned to 108K. Likewise, say you do some more sampling here for locality B, you find that the mean house prices changes to 115K. This is also very much possible. So making a claim just based on taking the mean of the data sample that you have might not always be sufficient to conclude on that claim. So always before making a claim, especially if you are going to be presenting it to a larger audience or be making some business decisions based on that claim, you need to substantiate it with suitable statistical significance test. That is always a standard practice before you publish. Now, when do you use the statistical significance test in the context of machine learning project workflow? This is actually a form of hypothesis testing. This is used in the discover phase where you do the exploratory data analysis. This is a step that you typically perform after you collected the data and organized it, right? After you have created your data, you do the exploratory data analysis, and this happens just before you go into model building. Just after you collected the data and prepared it, and before you enter into model building, you want to find out all the insights, all the information that you want to know about the data set. During that time, you want to perform these tests before you make any solid claim around any of the insights that you might have found in your data. All right. And some of the very common statistical significance tests are the chi-square test, the t-tests, ANOVA, KS test, also called as the Kolmogorov-Smirnov test. These are very common, very useful statistical significance tests that you will commonly use on the field. You will find these tests being implemented in many of our project courses, the real case studies courses you will find on our platform. So the point is, before you publish any claim, always substantiate it with a statistical significance test.